Welcome to the most exciting adventure of your life. Welcome to a new way of living.
There are 5 domains, or mountains of our lives that we seek to develop in an integrated manner. When cultivated and integrated, you'll be able to propel yourself to the highest levels of awareness and become the extraordinary person you were meant to be.
Hi, I'm Casey.
And I'm Andy. We're a married couple on a mission to inspire and guide 1 million individuals and couples to live a life of purpose, passion, and self-mastery through the 5 mountains of cutting-edge development. In our last episode, we shared a 14,000-foot view of the 5 domains or mountains of unbeatable mind from our perspective. Today, we're going to share our adventures within the first domain, the physical mountain. Friends, if what we're discussing today, the 5 domains of cutting-edge human development, sounds interesting to you and you want to experience it for yourself, a great place to start is the Unbeatable Challenge. You can try it for free now. There's a link in the show notes, and it's a great way to really jumpstart your 5 domain training and become really clear on your goals for this year and how to crush them. You know, we did this challenge earlier this year, and it was a great way to find clarity and redefine our mission, our purpose. And Casey and I also used it as an alignment piece in our marriage to make sure that we were on the same page. So the link is in the show notes. You can try it for free now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Take action.
The first of the 5 domains is the physical mountain. The purpose of climbing this mountain is to build our physical structure. Our goal is to be healthier, fitter, and more resilient. The work within this mountain will lead to a greater sense of mental clarity and confidence. Our bodies are our vehicle for interacting with our physical world. They are an outward manifestation of our inward state. Do you recall a time in your life when you were fit, healthy, and vibrant? What did you do to achieve this state? Chances are you were engaging in a regular physical training program. How else did physical training manifest in your life? Were you more confident, calm? Were you able to think more clearly, manage stress more easily? Did you feel better prepared to take on life's challenges?
When we engage in a regular, challenging functional fitness training program, we not only strengthen our bodies, but also our minds. We build confidence, strengthen our self-image, bleed off stress, and develop the energy to deal with VUCA times, volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous times like we're living in right now. We also begin to develop the capacity to show up better for our families, friends, and teams. You can accelerate your growth as a whole person when you choose a challenging physical training program like SEAL Fit that integrates aspects from several different mountains, not only the physical training mountain, but also one that develops mental toughness, emotional resiliency, and stokes your Kokoro never quit spirit. Included in the physical mountain are physical training, diet and nutrition, and recovery and sleep.
So, Andy, why don't you tell us why we start with the physical mountain in an integrated training program like this?
Casey, our bodies or our physical beings are a fundamental aspect of who we are. When we think of ourselves, we most often think of our physical bodies. Do we feel strong or weak? Do we feel tired or rested? Do we feel limber or tight? Do we feel sore or are we pain-free? What is it you see or feel when you look in the mirror or step on the scale? What is our perception of how we look to others? Where the body goes, the mind follows, and where the mind goes, the body follows. Our bodies are our connection to our physical environment. You know, when we engage our 5 senses, and our bodies are also where we experience physical manifestations of stress, disease, shortness of breath, racing heart, clenching muscles. The physical domain is also the easiest domain to train and quantify results. I mean, most of us, we can move our bodies in a way that's measurable.
You know, within the physical mountain, it's a subject I have some personal experience with, as many of us do. But you know, through much of my life, I've had what I would call a love-hate relationship with the physical mountain, struggling with consistent and healthy weight, poor eating habits, long periods of little or no movement or activity, sleeping all the time. Uh, I always felt tired and like I was just drained of energy. And what I've realized now is that I was actually tying my self-worth to how I felt when I looked in the mirror or got on the scale. Um, I remember a day in high school, I went dress shopping with my mom, and it was such a traumatic event that once we got home, I was, in the bathroom floor crying, looking in the mirror, just feeling kind of disgusted with myself. And obviously, that was a lower point for me, but I think it illustrates this case really well. Back then, I had no concept of body mind connection or integrated training. I mean, I had no idea how to properly physically train or take care of my body. Once I had a better understanding of that and started to train all the aspects of the physical mountain, as well as the other four domains, things started to change and stick. And I've seen more consistency since doing this than ever before. So, what are the aspects of training in the physical mountain?
Yeah, Casey, there's several aspects. Before we go there, I just want to say, thanks for sharing that story, because I think I can relate to that story on many levels. From a societal standpoint, I think that we're sold a story of, or an image of, how we're supposed to look and who we're supposed to be, that is just oftentimes very unattainable. And I can remember going through similar challenges in high school, and even at certain points in my 20s, when I would kind of fall off the wagon, so to speak, of the fitness wagon, and gain some weight back. So I think there's probably a lot of people listening to this that can also relate. But getting back to your question of what are the different aspects of training in the physical domain, functional fitness, training your body to handle real life situations like lifting a suitcase or a toddler, or being able to change a flat car tire. And, these some movements that might be incorporated in the functional fitness would be like air squats, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, bent over rows, unstable load training like sandbag workouts, like brute force sandbag workouts, running, walking. Functional fitness, it's not about lifting a certain amount of weight or a certain number of reps necessarily. And it's about training our bodies to be capable of taking on everyday tasks.
If functional fitness isn't about lifting a certain amount of weight, then how do we track the progress there?
We can quantify our progress with functional fitness by tracking reps, time, our ability to complete a workout of the day or a WOD with fewer rest breaks. And, we regularly benchmark our physical fitness with tests, which include standard baseline movements like air squats, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and known distance runs.
So, how often should we be benchmarking that?
It depends on your training program and what crucible events that you're training for, but usually every 30 days and, at least once a quarter.
So, moving on to the next aspect of the physical domain, we look at diet and nutrition, wholesome nutrition. This aspect is about consistently eating adequate quality foods that support your lifestyle. So we're not talking about, the latest fad diet here. We're talking about a way of life, an eating plan that acts as a healthy fuel that supports optimal recovery and provides sustainable energy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, getting back to kind of what we're told and sold through media, social media, the so-called experts. For the last 20 years or so, I've been hiking and mountaineering and canyoneering. And for a good number of those years, I was constantly eating the so-called healthy trail foods to give me energy. And a lot of those foods were very heavily laden with sugar and even gluten. And I could never quite understand why I was having, just these bouts of being bloated and low energy and constantly being congested. And along the way, I had some tests done, and it turns out I've got a pretty good gluten allergy. It doesn't rise to the level of celiac disease, but when I eat gluten, breads, pastas, the so-called fuel foods, I get really bloated and congested, and I get a little, my thinking gets a little clouded. And I also was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and it just, all the sugar and all those foods just wreaked havoc with my system. So just because people are telling you that a certain food is what you need to go to, there is no one size fits all diet or eating plan. And when we're talking about quantifying this domain or this aspect of the physical mountain or the physical domain, we use journaling as a way to quantify and track what we're eating and our bodies are intaking. It also helps us, make sure that we're actually living and eating the way that we think we are, because so many times, with our hectic lifestyle and the pace of what our commitments are in the world, we're always grabbing a snack here or a drink there, and it can take us way off course if we're not paying attention to it. And by journaling, we bring awareness to our energy levels. We can track our weight and our body fat percentages. There might also be signs of, like I mentioned earlier, gastronomic distress. Do you experience indigestion, gas, and bloating? If you've been listening to our podcast or following us on socials, it's probably no surprise to you that I've been dealing with back issues for many years. And I want to take a moment just to tell you about something that I found that's helped me with my flexibility and durability and mobility. And that's called Kokoro Yoga, somatic warrior training. It's not just yoga. It also includes Tai Chi, Qigong, visualization, meditation, and breathwork practices such as Fit Warrior, Fighting Warrior, which incorporates functional fitness and some martial arts movements. And it's been just a really great way for me to maintain some flexibility and durability as I move through our challenges when we go and do Spartan races and climb mountains. So if this sounds like it's something that could help you out, check it out. The link's in the show notes.
Looking at the next aspect of the physical domain, we look at sleep and recovery. So the relationship between sleep and physical health is well documented. Sleep is essential for the body and brain to recover. Having a good night's sleep lets us feel alert and energized in the morning. Sleep deficiency can lead to feeling tired and increase your risk of disease and many other health problems. And we're not talking just quantity here, but quality of sleep. Not getting enough high quality sleep actually starts to interfere with the body's processes and decreases the body's ability to recover and defend itself from disease. Research has also shown that the amount of sleep you need changes with age and your level of physical activity. Generally, it's about 7 to 9 hours, ideally for adults.
We can track and quantify the quality and quantity of our sleep by journaling the amount of sleep we get each night and bringing awareness to our energy levels and the mood we have when we wake up in the morning. We personally supplement our journaling with a digital sleep tracker. We use Garmin. And this charts the different types of sleep we get throughout the night, as well as our movement throughout the day. It's been a great tool for us to help identify which behaviors that we partake in before we go to bed that might have the largest impact on the quality of our sleep. And some examples, for us, eating or drinking alcohol before we go to bed leads to higher stress levels and a lower quality of sleep. Conversely, taking a magnesium supplement before we go to bed does improve our overall sleep quality. Utilizing calming breath techniques or gentle yoga movements can also help us relax our bodies, our mind, allowing for deeper and more quality of sleep.
The next aspect of the physical mountain, we move on to somatic awareness. Our bodies provide us a lot of information if we're attuned. When we have a deep connection to our body, we can tap into our intuition and awareness. The ability to connect to this information allows us to use our body sensations or physical symptoms to identify the true factors needed to self-regulate, leading to more confidence and balance. It gives us more clarity around the feelings and emotions that come up in our bodies. So that way we could consciously decide to respond rather than falling into those old habitual behaviors. Somatic movement practices such as Kokoro Yoga, MoveNat, martial arts, Tai Chi, dance can help you develop greater movement skill, learn to avoid self-induced injury, and heal quickly if and when injury occurs. It's a bit more difficult to quantify somatic awareness, but our experience is that if you mindfully train somatic movement about 3 to 5 times a week alongside your functional fitness training, you begin to realize and recognize when you're in balance and when you're out of balance. So you'll begin to deeply understand what your body is telling you.
So optimal breathing. Slow, deep breathing through our nose into our diaphragm helps us to rebalance our nervous system. With lower stress and reduced heart rate, our mind becomes more focused, allowing for better decision-making during fearful or stressful situations. The problem for most of us is that we spend a lifetime of developing habits of sitting too long, not focusing on our movements, and poor posture, creating breathing patterns that are restricting and dysfunctional. Studies have shown that the average adult takes about 16 to 20 breaths per minute, underutilizing our full lung capacity, often causing high blood pressure and a buildup of CO2. So it's no wonder that many of us feel stressed out and out of control. The good news, however, is that we can build better habits by training in optimal breathing, leading to stronger, healthier physical bodies and a myriad of additional health benefits that span multiple mountains. Start by breathing slow and deep through your nose and into your diaphragm. Practice this until it becomes habit, and you're naturally breathing slow and deep. Learning to control and direct your breath can also lead to easier access to flow states and your peak performance.
So optimal breathing, like somatic awareness, can be somewhat difficult to quantify. As you develop your breathing over time, you will start to feel your lung capacity expand as you start taking longer, deeper breaths. Personally, we also experienced a more overall state of calm in our bodies and in our minds. We've noticed benefits across multiple mountains when we added focused training to breathing patterns, and it has only amplified as we commit more time to these practices.
Friends, if you found the Fierce Planet Adventures podcast helpful, please consider leaving a 5-star review on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. It helps others find our podcast.
If you screenshot your review and tag us on Instagram, we'll send you a classic Fierce Planet Adventures sticker. For your water bottle, cooler, car, just send us a direct message with your mailing address on Instagram, and we'll send you that sticker right out.
Thanks for joining us and live fiercely.